Welcome to Film and Page. I'm Dominic, and in this video we're going to be talking about Scream 2022, starring Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott, Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers, David Arquette as Dewey Riley, Melissa Barrera as Sam Carpenter, Jack Quaid as Richie Kirch, Mickey Madison as Amber Freeman, and Jenna Ortega as Tara Carpenter. Directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette. Produced by Paramount Pictures, Spyglass Media Group, and Project X Entertainment. And my co-host on this is
Marie.
So this is a movie we both checked out over the weekend, as we're both fans of the Scream franchise. And so just to give a quick breakdown of the plot before we get into heavy spoilers. So it's been a decade since the last Ghostface killer has been on the loose in the town, and now the murders are starting up again. As the movie starts off pretty much like the first Scream, except the girl isn't killed; she survives, but is messed up pretty bad and in the hospital. And then that kind of kicks things off, and the murders start again. And just like all the other Scream films, it's a whodunit. You have to figure out who the killer is. So that's the setup for this new movie. So first of all, Marie, what did you think of it overall?
Overall, I thought it was okay. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. It was just okay, you know?
Yeah, it was all right. In my opinion, it was definitely the weakest one in the whole series for sure. And I thought it was kind of boring, more on the boring side. Compared to some of the other entries. And on top of that, I found this one to be the most predictable one.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Because I guessed one of the killers not 10 minutes into the movie.
And I guessed the other one.
Yeah, and you guessed the second killer.
Yeah.
Almost right away as well. So this is like we're saying, this is the, so if you're a Scream of the fan if you're a fan of the Scream movies, this is the weakest one.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know how you're going to feel about it, but we thought it was like an okay entry. But at this point, I think this should be the last one. I really don't know where they can go any further with the storyline.
And they don't need
to.
This proved that they didn't even need to make this movie.
Yeah, they didn't need to make this movie. But the fourth one was a pretty solid one. So they should have just ended it there instead of going on and on. But apparently this made some money, so we might get yet another one.
Yeah, I remember one of the other reviews we watched, they mentioned something about this being a new trilogy. I don't know if that's true. That might just be a weird rumor. But I was thinking to myself, like, goodness gracious, I hope not. Like, don't stop taking great things and ruining them.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything more you can do with this. I think it's pretty much tapped out. And now that the original cast are getting older and older, and there's fewer and fewer of them to bring back, I don't really think these can go on. And the new cast members that they set up in this new movie, the ones that are going to try to take this franchise forward, if they're going to make another one, they're not solid enough. They're like, I found like
their acting wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I found like that their characters were boring, and I just can't see them hinging a franchise on these new characters that are set up in this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's our overall thoughts. So spoiler warning, now we're going to get into spoiler territory if you haven't seen the film. So now, what was some of the things you liked about this movie?
I liked Dewey.
Yeah, it was pretty good in this
You know, I think they did a good job with his character this time.
Yeah.
And kind of like seeing what they decided to do with him was interesting to me. But I feel like I was I wasn't bored like you were. I was entertained enough.
Yeah.
But I would never watch it again.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Maybe the only way I'd watch it again is if I'm doing a marathon of the Scream movies.
Maybe. And even then I wouldn't really want to. Like, I've seen the original Scream countless times. I don't even know. Yeah, me too, yeah. And together we've seen it at least 2-3 times.
Yeah.
So that one to me has rewatchability, even though I always know, I mean, you know.
Yeah, you know,
once you've seen it, you know what's happening.
Who the killers are, yeah.
But like this one to me, like, it just didn't, because, and the more I thought about it, the more it didn't make sense. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Yeah, no, it
felt like, I don't know, it was like a movie they didn't need, and I don't know, it's just not really, like I said, there's nowhere you can go. I mean, yeah, I like to see the original cast come back. Again, I like Dewey. I thought he was pretty good in this movie. And but they didn't have huge parts. Dewey probably had the biggest part.
Yeah,
of
the other
original
two
cast.
were kind of just background characters, is how I would kind of describe Nev Campbell's character and Courtney Cox's character.
They kind of have more to do at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But for the most part,
they're just sort of there.
Yeah, and then they do try to recreate the first Scream movies with this one.
They tried.
They tried, because it takes place in the same house as the original, stuff like that. So that wasn't bad. I thought the main girl in this one that was kind of carrying the film, she was okay.
I hated her.
Oh, you hated her? I thought she was okay, but like, again, I can't see that girl being able to carry the movies forward like Nev Campbell did.
She doesn't have that, I don't know the word, like, I don't know if it's charisma or there's just something about her that doesn't grab you.
There's something that doesn't click. And the other thing is they kind of like poke fun at movie fans in this one, talking about like reboots and requels and like the new rules that they set up, how to survive this movie. And so it's very similar to the other Scream films as far as that goes. And but yeah, one of the things I didn't really care for was like I thought the new cast was kind of weak. Like I said, I thought it was more kind of on the boring side, this movie. But I think the biggest thing is it was really predictable. Yeah. Like, you knew right away who at least one of the killers.
As soon as I laid eyes on, I guess we're in spoiler territory, yes?
In spoiler territory,
okay, so as soon as I laid eyes on the girl, I was like, she's nuts. She's totally the killer.
Yeah.
Like, there was just something about her to me that was, it was like
Amber
glaring. Girl. Yeah, Amber.
Yeah,
I didn't even know her name. But like, it was something just so glaringly obvious to me. I was like, she's going to be a killer.
And as soon as
you know now that there's two, because there always is.
Yeah,
that's the formula for Scream.
And as soon as I saw the Jack Wade character, who was the boyfriend of the main girl, I just said it right away.
See, to me, I was like, oh, maybe that's too obvious, but no, apparently not.
No, I know, they made it like obvious, but then they just went all the way with it, and he wasn't a red herring, nothing like that.
Yeah, I thought he was for sure a red herring.
No, but there might have been a few spots in the movie where I had my doubts, and then when we start to see the main cast, well, I ruled out all the minority characters, because nowadays they never make them the killers.
And they never die.
And they don't die. So right away, as soon as I narrowed it down to all the whatever white kids were left. And so then it was pretty easy to guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was another weak point. It was pretty predictable. And some of the other things I liked, like its kills were pretty good though.
Yeah, I thought the kills were pretty good. In a sense though, they were kind of ruined for me. Once we had it confirmed who the killer was. Yeah. Because there was the scene you and I talked about where they're in the hospital, they're escaping. So the guy character, what's the boyfriend's name? I don't remember.
Richie.
Richie. So he's in the elevator. In case you know, he wasn't the one who killed Dewey.
Yeah, it was Amber that killed Dewey.
It had to have been Amber, but that doesn't make sense because Amber is tiny.
Yeah, and whoever was in that costume
was big and had the strength to kill Dewey the way they did.
Yeah.
And it was like, that had to be either a really strong woman or a bigger guy.
Yeah.
And that girl doesn't fit any of those. Like, she's tiny.
Yeah. Well, that was obviously a stuntman in that suit at that point. Yeah.
But I mean, like, it just kind of ruined it for me.
Yeah, story-wise, it's not, like, convincing, like, how,
Like, if Amber was in the elevator and it was him...
Yeah, they should have switched the rules around.
That would have been like, okay, makes sense.
Yeah,
but, like,
made more sense.
With her, she's just such a... And no offense to the actress, like,
she is
a small girl.
Yeah.
So it just isn't believable the way they killed Dewey that someone that small could do it.
Yeah. The other thing... that I thought was pretty weak was at the end when it reveals the killer's motivations.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That they were part of a toxic fandom and they didn't like how everything was going.
I thought that was stupid.
Yeah, I thought it was stupid too, and I rolled my eyes at it when they went on.
Because it was such like a weak motive. Like,
yeah, it was a weak.
That's what you decided. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, compared to the original movie, you had you know, that whole history with Sydney's mom
Yeah.
was she wrecked the whole, basically
Ruined Billy's home.
Ruined Billy's home. That pushed him off the deep end. He blamed her for his mother leaving, and
and that just spiraled.
And that set everything off in motion.
And that made sense.
That made
it
sense.
It was messed up, but it made sense. You were like, okay.
This one, they didn't like how the last Stab movie, Stab 8 went, and they didn't, and they
needed to remake their own movie.
Yeah, and it was like,
like it was just like, what? Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And for me, the things like that I hated, was that part as well. But it was like the whole premise of her being Billy's daughter. What's the main character? See, I don't even remember their names.
Oh, yeah, her...
I remembered all the other people's
Sam.
names. Sam, thank you. I don't even remember their names. It didn't... Maybe this is just because I have a child, so I know these things. The timing doesn't line up. She's not old enough.
She's not, because he got this girl pregnant when he was in high school.
Got her mom pregnant in high school.
Now,
so
we assume the first movie took place in 1996. That's how many years ago?
Yeah, so I did the math, and they referenced that she left at 18, and that was 5 years ago, so she'd be 23.
Yeah.
She's too young.
She'd have to be like 25
because it's
26.
been almost 26 years since the Scream movie. So it's like, if she was like 25, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is like a 2-year.
So that's a nitpick. That's maybe some people wouldn't notice it, but like to me, I was like, wait a minute. Yeah. First of all, that doesn't add up. And then secondly, like in her hallucinations or whatever, she's hearing his voice. Like she's hallucinating him. Yeah. How would she know what his voice sounds like? And why would she hallucinate a man she never met?
Yeah, I guess.
So to me, I was like, okay, like I get why, when you get to the end of the movie, why they put that there, because he helps her, so to speak. Yeah. When it comes down to it, but like.
And it's probably an excuse to bring the original.
It was just an excuse to bring, but like I found it really annoying. Like as soon as she's like, "I'm Billy Loomis's daughter," I was like, "Wait, how old are you?"
This is kind of like an old horror movie trope. They do this in a lot of horror movies where they retcon it relative into the killer at some point, even though there's never any mention of a family member before. They did it with Friday the 13th. They did it with Halloween movies. Now they did it here with Scream. But.
Yeah, like, and maybe that's just a stupid nitpick of mine, but like the second they said it, and we were thinking about it and talking about it after, and I was like, well, wait, she's not old enough. She'd need to be at least 1 year to 2 years older for that to even remotely make sense. Yeah. And again, maybe there's a lot of people that wouldn't catch on to that, and maybe it's silly that it bothered me so much, but it, like, the second it did, it was like, well, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
And once you know who the two killers are, like, they're not as menacing as the original killers at all.
No, like she just comes across as like that bitch in high school.
Yeah, and he's just not menacing. Like, I don't know, he just doesn't.
He's boring. Really. Yeah. He's a very, like, he doesn't stand out. Whereas like in the original movie, the two guys, like, they're throughout the whole movie. And once you know, if you like rewatch the
once you know, you can see
catch,
there's
like,
little
weird little things,
little psychotic moments they have.
Yeah, and so you're like,
there's something that you might not pick up on watching it first time.
And like they stand out as characters.
Yeah,
these two, like, I can't remember half the characters' names, and I feel like there was, like, looking back, and even at the end, like when it was Billy and Stu, is that the other guy's name? They're really menacing and crazy at the end, right? Like they're just like, like, you know, like totally off their rocker. These two, Amber and whatever his name is,
Richie.
Thank you. I don't know why that won't stick. But Amber and Richie, like when they're going off on their like rant to reveal their big thing, I'm just like, you're not scary. You're just weird.
They don't come off as intimidating.
And they're acting like they're a couple because she calls him baby, but they have no.
It's
charisma together or something, like no chemistry. That's the word I'm going for.
Yeah, and they have no, and then
so
plus
weird.
They weren't. Yeah, I don't know. To me it didn't really work. But so, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I would rewatch it again if I was doing like a marathon.
Yeah, I would watch it.
If I'm just gonna pick out a Scream movie just to watch, I'm always gonna pick out the first one to rewatch. Yeah. The first one you can't beat that movie. Yeah, that's the best one.
You would never say it's an amazing movie, but it is what it is. For what it is, it's a great movie. And this one, like, they tried to pay homage to the first,
Yeah.
But the original Scream movies, they always made fun of the horror cliches, like the rules in horror. They always broke them.
Yeah.
Whereas these guys stuck with the rules, which kind of
yeah,
ruined
they
it
set up
too.
the rules, but then they stick with them. Yeah.
You know, like in the original Scream movie, I think, what was it, Scream? No, it wasn't the original, my apologies. Scream 4.
Yeah.
There's a character, it's like, you can't kill me, I'm gay.
But he dies
And he
anyway.
kills him. You know?
Yeah.
And in this movie, like, the current rules that we have
Yeah.
in movies, they stuck to them. So
Yeah.
you knew for a fact that none of the minority characters,
Yeah, you knew none of the
the girl that was gay,
minorities.
you knew
Yeah, you
none
knew
of
they
those people
weren't
were
going to be the
die.
killer, and they weren't going to die, because you see that in a lot of horror movies now.
And I was hoping they'd break that. Like, I was like, oh, I wonder if they're going to stick with what Scream does and break those rules.
But yeah, they didn't
But they
really
didn't.
do that. Yeah, it's just, and it kind of comes off as like a run-of-the-mill modern
Modern horror movie.
horror movie. Yeah.
Where they try to throw in the nostalgia factor of those the three original characters.
Yeah.
But, like, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
And, like, the lineup of all these people being somehow related to the previous movies, like, it didn't jive for me. Like,
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So any final thoughts on this?
I would say, like, if you're a Scream fan and you're gonna do a marathon of the movies, yeah, watch it. But don't go out of your way. Don't pay for it.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm sure there's gonna be people out there that love this movie, and good on them, you know, to each their own.
Yeah.
For me personally, it was okay.
Yeah, same here. I thought it was kind of boring, really predictable, and I would watch it again as part of a marathon, but if I'm just in the mood to watch a Scream movie, I'll probably just throw in the first or second one. So yeah, like I said before, that's my final thoughts on it. It's boring, predictable, and then the killer's motivation at the end is kind of cringy. So that's everything we got to say in this video. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and I will see you at the next one. I'd like to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I appreciate you all in helping this channel grow. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when new videos are uploaded.